Hello and welcome in. So guess where you are? You're where the magic happens. Welcome in. This is going to be the house and the estate sale that I'm going to have in just another few weeks as the recording of this video. I wanted to bring you back and show you a process of how I set a house up and how I kind of clean things and process things, staging, and then the final lap would be pricing. I've already done the ad, so I moved all the pieces that were way up there. I moved them all down so they're very accessible, easier for the customers to shop. I will get that all cleaned up and all wiped down. I'm going to try and go as slow as humanly possible because I don't want to make you dizzy and I don't want to, juggle the camera. Look at the environment of this house though. How fantastic are the colors and the cabinets and the vintage nature of, even these old stoves, and I do this so, people in the future that watch these videos will say, wow, look at these vintage houses. I always accumulate the trash in one area. I take it out on a daily basis. That's just me because I like to keep a very clean house at my home and also in any environment I'm in, and welcome everybody in. So this is going to be the estate sale that I'm doing, and here I dug out all of the Dansk china, and it's beautiful because it's this matte kind of gunmetal black or gunmetal gray, very charcoal-like, and all of them are completely marked. They're completely marked with the, let's see if we can go in and get that as a mark. Let's see if we can. And thank you all again so much for your patience in these videos. And there we go. Now it's focusing. Now my camera's agreeing. So there we go for Dansk, vintage china set. Very beautiful because people are not using china these days as much as they used to. I moved down a step stool so I can gain access to all these spaces way up top where things were, bringing things down. Utilitarian and useful objects are very sellable at sales. Those get moved into another location. I started to clean and I started to clear this out. You can see my process of all my rags for cleaning. And then on this was completely full, and I hadn't brought you into the kitchen yet in my last video, so welcome to the kitchen. It did not look like this. So all these cabinets were completely loaded with glassware and china, and again, useful kitchen items. Some were more vintage, some were antique, and I moved all these out and grouped things together. So now like sets are together. There's more Dansk plates right there that I need to move out and put over on that table. And then of course I cleared this out of the cabinet because everybody used to love this as a pattern. And there was someone in the last video that said, is that Stengel pottery? And I said, yes, it is. There's the mark for Stengel pottery. And this is like the probably the biggest set I've seen in a long time. Would I say it's now less desirable than the Dansk? I would, just because, color is so specific, but definitely vintage. And every, cup and saucer, creamer, sugar, gravy boat, the covered relish, another dish, the egg cups, the maybe celery serving tray, salad bowl, the cookie tray, the teapot, and that was all spread out all over. And so I consolidated all down and I keep things together. Some of the art pottery that was out of the kitchen, I'll continue to stage this. And you can see that I bring in all my own tables and all my own linen coverings. People have said, can you show us that? Above this door is a magnificent punched copper. It's a picture, but it's dimensional as a sculpture. So it's beautifully framed, and that has to be, in my mind, I would say late 60s, early 70s, and it is signed on the bottom of it. I hadn't been into the sunroom. Family is now completely done in the house as the airing of this. Let me turn some lights on over here. Let me get some lights on. I'm sorry about not being prepared, but I didn't turn the lights on yet. There we go. So some more art pottery and art glass and a leaded window. The birds are going crazy outside. I am going to sell the fountain out in the yard, that modern fountain. That's going to get sold, and I loved the lines of that fountain. absolutely exceptional. And normally we don't sell things out in the yard, but at this sale, everything's for sale. Unfortunately, these areas always concern me because they're like a jumbled mess. I don't like having things that are undone, so I'm going to address this today. Maybe I'll bring you back in here later in the video. This incredible plant stand that's metal and vintage all day long. Wonderful house plants. And then when we come over here, the view outside this house is magnificent. And there's the large key in the front yard, that large, just gigantic key in the front yard. It's over 6 feet tall. More art pottery that I just drug out, so I didn't get any of this wiped down or cleaned yet. But this is the kind of like, again, my fifth day here. So I started to, stage this. I'll put a table covering on this one. I dig things out of the spaces where things were kind of stored away. And in this instance, this was stored away. Let me zoom out a little bit more to get a little bit more comfortable. Let me turn on the lights. Again, there's, I just got here today, and so just getting started, but, and it's early. I dug all of this out: art pottery, Waterford crystal, just artisan created things, and then some stemware in that box, decorative arts that are newer here. It was all inside of this. Record albums right there that are just kind of, I don't know if they're not classic rock, but they're like, I don't know how to describe the music here, but 2 heaters, utilitarian, probably go downstairs in the basement. And I'm much more known for the decorative arts. These speakers are fantastic. And then more art pottery, likely Lalique glass, the candlesticks and the sparrow bowl, always say Lalique to me. And then there's more art on this wall. A lot of local art here. We'll get into that in future videos. And I kind of picked up and consolidated things down. I wish I could have brought you in here before. And then we'll come through this way. More artwork in the kitchen. Thank you again for joining in. And as we come through this way, I do have a lot more cleaning to do. Let me try and get some lights on over here. So here, let's go over here and let's get some lights on today. We'll go inside this. We'll get these on. And there we go. Now we got some lights on, and we'll get that central fixture on. Let's come around this way. We'll get that central fixture on right now. There we go. And on this side, built-in cabinets. I think I showed this in the last one. My showcases I bring in. I brought the mirror in because when people try jewelry on, they want to see the way that it looks on. So I bring in my showcases for security purpose. I highly recommend if you start in the business and you're just getting started doing estate sales, bring in your own cases for security. I bring in jewelry furniture as well, so people know what a necklace is and what bracelets are. So you bring in your bracelet display, you bring in your necklace displays, you bring in your showcases. On the table here, people had asked about this. I do a lot of signage. I don't handwrite my signs. I print everything, all sales final. Let people know and be transparent with your customers. A lot of people that come to estate sales, it is their first time. That I do have a major following here that people have come to my sales for 16 years now. And they know more this way. So you direct people through the house, no exit signs. So people aren't opening doors that they shouldn't be opening. You don't want to have to yell at anyone during a sale, right? You don't need to lecture anyone. You just need to have clear signs instead of expecting people to know. Let them know what your expectations are up front. If you see something you like, you can leave an offer. If accepted, you are obligated to purchase the item. So let's say you come into the sale and you see this little dresser box with the faces and you say, I don't agree with the price that he put on and I want to offer half price. Go ahead and do that, but at my sales, you're required to take the piece if the owner accepts the offer. Okay, so that's the offers. And then my offer box is right here, well made, well labeled. And again, it says if you place an offer on an item, that's fine, but you're obligated to take it. Items on this table are sold because we use those throughout the house. And then be careful, the floors could be slippery, watch the rugs. If you see something you want to buy, bring it to the front door and check out at checkout, and we'll write a receipt for purchase. Everything has a receipt at my sales. That's for the outside artwork, like the little sculptures, the little artwork. I will have a worker outside, but we want them to check out before they go to their car with it. Labels, I always use the Avery sticky labels. They're the perfect size. That's what I use. These are the a 1/2 inch and a 3/4 inch. Those are the labels I use. They do stick down very well. They don't damage things. They're wonderful. A shout out to Avery, by the way. This was just our bulk list for pricing on clothes. Why I show you this, we will not use this at this sale because I don't give out pricing before, we do sales. But this was a for example of what we use as like a bulk price list. Do not opens. So like when we close off an area, we put do not opens and we tape off the area. We just ask our people not to touch those areas. And they're usually very respectful. Like I said, as long as you let people know what you expect of them. My business cards are ready to go. I have them flipped over because my cell is on there and I don't want 9,000 phone calls. Art glass that was upstairs, acrylic that was buried in the back room, small, and I wanted them in a showcase. I started to group the small pieces that were left upstairs, miniatures, small things that may walk away that aren't paid for. Those all get consolidated down. Anything expensive is moved downstairs so we can watch it on the main level. Price stickers, masking tape, index cards for additional signage, post-it notes, more in here, there's more index cards, masking tape, tape measures, tags and stickers, labels, scotch tape, markers and pens. Be prepared. A loop to look for signatures on anything. I have probably, 40 loops in my life because it helps. This is all more stickers, electrical tape, twine to tie someone's, trunk down if they can't get something in. This tote is, this is self-explanatory, but that tote is filled with more labels, more supplies, more pens. This is critical to someone in the estate sale business. As you can see through this, I really cleaned this up. I wiped the table down, 4 different times. I moved the sailboat over. The art that the family took, I restaged this area. I restaged the window of the crystal because I wiped all this down. You remember that vase used to be over here on the floor. I moved it up because we don't want a trip hazard over here. It's just about staging. And I've often said, I just do it different than other companies. I don't, I always say I don't do it better. I do it different. I don't do it worse. I don't do it better. I do it different. I do post the signs all over. All sales final at my sales because I don't want someone to buy something and then say, oh, I don't want it, and then bring it back and I've already paid the family. Onto this, we have more signage we'll put up inside this main part of the house. Over here, I just post these again. Again, just let people know what to expect. I do have liability insurance, but I just tell people we have liability with the home. I have additional liability insurance. I don't want to ever have to use it, but we are absolutely not responsible for any accidents in the homes ever, under any circumstance. Enter at your own risk. This, I finally got all the pieces together. Another piece of zebra martel pottery. The sailboat I did move over, like I said. I have to get back here and I have to clean. I have to vacuum. I have to get that cleaned up. I have to put the painting up on the wall and start to restage some of the art over here. You'll see that in future videos. And of course, the decorative arts that I dug out of different places. There's like this antler rattle, beautiful Venetian or Murano birds, the incredible art glass, the trio there, absolutely outstanding. A shell that I found to be interesting that is on a lucite stand, this incredible sculpture, this soft sculpture, almost like a helix in a way as I zoom around. I'm always in such a hurry, but look at how great that is. Look how outstanding that is for, an original late 1960s into the 1970s, completely hand constructed out of thread and fiber. It's an incredible piece of sculpture. I wish I could get the whole thing into here. Let me turn some more lights on, and thank you again for joining in, everybody. Let me see where my lights are in here as I come in here. Let me zoom back out real quick, and I'll show you just some more of the areas that I now have staged and ready to go. So I did redo the walls. I moved things around. I cleaned. I moved this over from across the room. That will go up on a table eventually. Not worried about that now. I restaged this area. I will move out all of the pieces back here. We'll find a different location for them. That's not prime. Setting up more tables and getting like things together. People often said in the business that my staging was some of the best because the way I put things together, that's the way I live, you know. Some more pieces were taken from the family down here, and all those boxes that were here of personal, that's now all out of the house, and I'm so grateful because I had so much work to do. Some more native sculptures, a print, and then this art, you remember, was in the front sunroom, and I now put that up on the mantle where that big painting was. Again, post signs throughout the home, just again so people know, let's get this light on, and we'll look at some more art pottery, and I'm so glad that you're able to join in. So this is kind of where I felt those pieces should be based on color, form, and size. People can do whatever they want. This is the way I do my things. These are buried in a cabinet, and those are wonderful because they're early. Some more pieces here, and then some art pottery up here, some more art glass, speakers, and then I move these chairs from across the room. You look over here, and this is more staging of how I present the items. Get things off the floor, wipe things down, clean everything up. I'm a stickler to have a nice, clean, presentable sale. I moved this up here, this large, I believe, Zebra Martel charger. I moved this out of the basement. That one I think is from the late 70s. I started to get these CDs taken care of. The family did claim the record albums out of the case, which is fine, no problem. A few family photographs I'll have to put away into here. The Steinway piano is not in the sale. They just can't move it out of the house before the sale. So I told them, I said, don't worry. Other companies are sticklers and say, well, you have to get that out of here by such and such. I never chase a client out of their home. That's rude. That's not respectful. And I would never do it because I wouldn't want it done to myself. This is a beautiful Steinway piano. We will cover this with a sheet, and we will not stage anything on the piano because that's not a place to stage items. Some companies may just move a piece of ceramic over, put it on the top of the piano, and scratch the piano. Not a good idea on a Steinway that's this beautiful. Some more artwork. The other art that was family is taken now, out of my way. The easel that was here forever in my way, now out of my way. The spinning wheel, out of my way. Very happy to have full capacity to work. I moved the one sculpture off the floor. I'll dust that down. The soap and lamp. I thought that this was copper in my first see through the house. That is actually tissue paper, which is unbelievable to me because it's so trompe-l'oeil, but this is very fragile. Listen, that's paper. This is actually tissue paper that's been painted and modeled. Let me zoom out. Painted and modeled to look like patinaed copper. And I just, I'm so much more in love with this piece now that I got to spend time with it. So, I'll say this because people have asked too. Have you ever been surprised by things at estate sales? Every single sale I've ever had, I've been surprised. I staged this here because I like the light coming through the window. Should I put more art glass on this? The answer is yes. I will put more art glass on this. The sterling dresser set will be moved into the jewelry area, so it won't go missing. At least I think it's sterling. I'm pretty sure. I got to look for marks. And I liked the way these things worked together, and I liked the flow of these pieces. I liked the more, and then I'll space little pieces in throughout. So I liked the flow of this. I just liked the visual characteristics of that. And trained as an artist, what can I say? This is a very important painting from 1976, and it's actually, I believe, gouache graphite, and it's not necessarily like a painting, but it's a gouache and graphite technically. It's from 1976, and the artist is very well known. And I'm going to leave a little bit left unsaid because we're still researching this. We have a lot of information to go on that, and it's a monumental work of this artist, and I believe it's Edwin's. I believe Edwin anyway. So we'll come into here, and you can kind of see. Let me step back, and I'll show you. I left this area open for a reason, and you'll see in just a little bit. I think I'll be able to pause the video today, and you'll see how much process I get done in a day. I left this for a reason, so you'll see what my intention is for this area, and hopefully you'll love the way I stage that area. We'll come back into here and we'll run upstairs really, really quick. And the upstairs, I showed you in the last video, there was a lot of personal. This is a very important work as well. I'll make a comment on that in the future, but I don't want to give away too many secrets. Let's come up here and I'll get a light on. Trash detail has always been something that I've been a stickler about, so I did all this. I filled these bags of the old plastic garment bags. So when I come into a house, let me get these lights on. When I come into a house and they have the dry cleaner bags all over the clothing, that's great to show that they're cleaned. The clothing here was very clean. I took off the bags and the garment bags from dry cleaning and threw all that away. Sometimes that chemical smell still remains, and I don't like any sort of odor and chemical smell. I did pile up some artwork. Oops, this lamp is fidgeting. There we go. I piled up some artwork. I have to get up on the walls, so that's going to go up on the walls, and you'll see how this room is now staged. So this didn't look like this before, and this did not look like a little vintage shop. Organized the shoes. Then we cleaned this up. I did have help on this for just about, I think, 3 hours. I've only had one person help for 3 hours. Moved all this down and then staged the purses on here. So some of these box purses from the 60s, they were in the top of the closet across the way. And you'll see, if you go to the previous video here, you'll see this didn't look like this. That didn't look like that. I was smart enough to take the coverings off of the beds to be able to sell the coverings. And these are just the basic kind of bed dressings. Hats, vintage purses, vintage scarves, handkerchiefs, ladies' fashion. That's what she was known for. Then we come down here and we look across here, more hats. And then we come up on this side, lots more purses. Tons more vintage purses all over the place. And what's great about this is I think that since she was so well known on a local level, we're going to have a lot of people that come for an emotional buy to remember her, you know. This needs to be addressed. Haven't gotten to this yet. I'll try and clean up the area just a little bit more, but you can see, full transparency, it's been a lot of cleaning, a lot of organization and a lot of cleaning. This is more of the costume jewelry. I found 2 more drawers filled, so this is a lot of costume jewelry. Some things are so incredibly fun, like that zebra carved out of wood, late 80s, tons of bangle bracelets, tons of beaded necklaces, and then a lot of these pieces were just very interesting. Need to do a lot of research on some of these things to make sure that my pricing is accurate. And I've often said, I only have 3 days to liquidate. Look at that mother of pearl inlaid cuff or bangle bracelet. Yeah, I say yes to that. So lots and lots and lots of costume and things that are buried, things I have to go through. I just got my work cut out for me. And you'll see this get cleaned up. Hopefully by the end of this video, you'll see that area get cleaned up. And then into the organization of the closet. Didn't look like this. There was all this jumble up here, jumbly, you know, the way people live. And look at how clean and presentable that is. So everything's kind of together. I like to have a clean presentation, but also welcoming. If you make it look too much like a museum, people don't buy that much. They're afraid, you know, they think everything's been discovered. And it's good to leave people some treasures. All this trash will go out. I did start to stage the hallway. We have a lot of bare spaces now where artwork used to be. So I'm going to start staging those areas. They did generously leave me with a lot of great art. So I'll start to move that. This is the bathroom that needs to be addressed. I'll take care of that because there are some pieces of art in there. This closet's now completely cleared out. This is where a lot of the clothing was, and we moved that onto the racks, kind of sorted it. And as you'll see into here, a lot has gotten done in this room. You'll see and you'll say, oh my God, Jason, you're really good at what you do. And I'll say, thank you. I take that as a compliment. We staged here because we have to use the beds to our advantage. We can't leave the beds out. I did work with a company one time, and they would actually, this is kind of disgusting, they would use the bathroom and the bathtub to display linens and textiles. And I thought, how classless is that? This is shoes and hats and some more vintage fashion. I'll get into this and clear this out because that was kind of off limits until now. A beautiful mantle clock and candlesticks, and there's the key to the clock. Some interesting vintage dolls that we found stashed away. Of course, I love this lamp. Let me see where the switch is. I always forget where these switches are. Love this lamp. That's in the ad. This is an incredible, incredible work of art. Still researching this. This is appears to be pen and ink, and it's it's exceptional. This needs a whole bunch of research. Let's zoom in and give you a look at that. Are you kidding me? I mean, are you absolutely joking? That is one of the coolest things. Very, very, 60s, 70s. Got to research this one as well. You'll see that the closets are now staged. They did take their personal photos out of here. There was a lot of personal effects in the bottom. I've stayed out of those areas for a reason. There's no reason for an estate sale liquidator to get into personal effects. There's no reason for it. More vintage clothing that I staged, and this is all gone through now, pretty much. This is now empty. Family took their personal items out of there, and then we'll go into this and a lot more vintage clothing, sweaters, and we'll have to stage that, and we'll have to clean out the bottom of that. But we use the bed to our advantage, and is this ideal? No, it's not ideal. Does that make me extremely happy? No, it doesn't. Look at some of these vintage hats that we found, and people say, slow down and show us everything. I wish I could. I wish I could slow down and show you everything. This box is completely loaded with vintage hats. Absolutely loaded, goes all the way down, and there's tons of them in there. More hats in this one, more vintage fashion, folding screen, a lot of beautiful scarves, more hats. Underneath the bed, I think that there's boxes of clothing and shoes and tons of stuff under the bed. We got to get to that as well. So we'll go through that eventually. Into here, this room was, it was almost a nightmare for me. And I say that kindly because there was so much personal effects here the last time I was here. There was a sofa over here that the family took, totally acceptable because it wasn't in the ad or the photographs. I think by the time this video airs, this should be everything that's still, in the sale, which is 98% of the items that were in my ad. And I'll tweak that ad so everybody knows what's gone. The audio and visual, DVDs, the poster's still here, the arts and crafts desk, this, older lamp. Into here, a lot of the sculptures. I tried to do some organization of some areas, but you can see that it's an awful lot of work, and sorry that the lighting isn't going to cooperate in here. Tons of vintage books, more vintage books, all the way up here. Got to get up there and get those down. I love the way these windows were treated in these older homes. I think this house is from like 1905. I think 1902, 1905. The chrome floor lamp was a winner for me. I really like that chrome floor lamp. Very industrial, very streamlined, and just a simple bent, like a 7, isn't that cool though? Very cool. I've always loved stuff like that. I'll have to get under here. I'll have to go in there. Don't think there's much left. And a lot of the small stuff, I did move downstairs, and the family did take their fair share. A piece of art that I still have to research, a Murano octopus that'll go downstairs. Those two very cool sculptures, got to move those downstairs, got to move that downstairs, got to get that down from up there because that's too high. There is a lot of effort that goes into estate sales, but it's some of the most rewarding work that I've ever done. In here, this is going to be really problematic for lighting. I don't think I have any other light in here right now, and I don't know how to turn this lamp on. Yeah, you'll get it. So this was completely impacted with personal family paperwork, check things and accounts and all that. So we'll scoot this over, and you can see I still have a lot of work to do up here to get this ready. And I've often told people at these estate sales, if you expect, perfection in environments, you aren't cut out for the estate sale business. You're just not. Lots of vintage office things. Again, I'm going to get out of here because the lighting is so dark. The folding screen, a lot of the Native American kachinas and statues, this incredible painted sculpture. I love her. We'll come down here, and there's a lot more art up in the spaces downstairs that I didn't show. We'll go back downstairs. I think I'll probably pause you now and continue a little bit of work, and then I'll come back and get you. So wait one sec. We'll be right back. Well, you guys caught me on break. I was just seated in the house, and I was just taking a moment. The executor just came, and I consider him a dear friend now, and his wife is just as lovely, and we had a great conversation, and they were very impressed with the forward progress of the work I've done and, the things I'm still doing. So I was just seated here looking outside, and it's a beautiful sunny day. So I guess I should continue from my break now. I brought jewelry downstairs from upstairs, and this is going to look a little grainy because the lighting is so low in here. And I have this pile of trash stuff, and I was going through this, but what I wanted to show you is how I said that I would stage the living room. So this is what I came up with just for right now. I will reconfigure this eventually because it's a little obstructive of traffic for the sale. I like to have open areas, but also when we do these sales, we limit the entry drastically because we don't want too many people in the house. So I set up the 2 showcases here. I started sorting some stuff here. I started filling the showcases with some more of the expensive items, both in jewelry and decorative arts. And then this would be kind of the jewelry that we allow people to shop and touch. I have another showcase I have about maybe, I don't know quantity wise, but I'd say about twice or almost 3 times the amount of jewelry and small things. And you can see that in future videos. And I am doing some live feeds. So if you want to see more jewelry from the house, go over to my live feeds because I have done, I did one video on the jewelry, 1 box of jewelry from the house. And I think I have 2 more boxes of fine jewelry from the house, some gold, some silver, lots of really nice costume, all vintage. So I started to stage this and started to make kind of decisions as to how I'm displaying things. I like things to be kind of color-coded and fun. This necklace was really cool. It's just beaded and crocheted and magnificent. There's my mirror for people to try the jewelry on. I always bring a mirror in. I will be bringing in additional lighting because I can already sense that people are like, wow, there's not a lot of lighting in that house. Well, when you look at this room, you step back, and this room is very, very large. You step back and you look across this, you'll see that I started staging on the mantle. I stage this differently now. And you can see that there's one light. There's one light in the ceiling. There's the whole ceiling. And there's one little spotlight. There's no central fixture, so we don't have a central fixture. So I'm glad I'm having this during the daytime because the daylight will help. I did stage this a little bit more. I'm not a fan of where I put that large floor vase. I'm just not a fan of that. It's too cluttered. That needs to go. So I need to find another spot for that. I like the airiness of this. That piece is still supposed to go with a family member. I don't know exactly what's going on, but that's okay. It's still here, and that's not going in the sale. But then I did restage this just a little differently. I wanted to move that there as like a focal point. And beautiful leaded work on that. So I'll move these chairs closer together just for right now. Those may go upstairs eventually. But that's it for the day. 31 minutes in, and you can kind of see the process. And then into the sunroom. I'll take you into there the next time to show you further staging. More signs going to be put up. I'll recycle the newspapers, or we'll use it for packing, and I'll clean up tonight. And when I bring you back, it'll look different yet again. But that's kind of my idea for keeping it safe. My worker will stand right back here. Then there will be a hold area back there for her. So she'll have a hold area. And then in this stuff, I guess I could show you a little bit more in here. There were some really neat beaded things. A lot of designer, a lot of costume. This was like a really large belt with, it appears to be amber and glass. I'll have to do some research on that. Lots of costume things down in here. So this needs to be cleaned up. A lot of things from the late 80s, which is great in jewelry. Lots of artisan created pieces. Look at this one. And this is, this is local, but someone else would just sell that as mere costume. It's not that, it's artisan created, and that's like a jadeite disc. Very interesting construction on some of these pieces, and I loved the asymmetry of that. So there's a lot of treasure still in here. And there's a pin from Tremont, Ohio, and then beaded things. And then in this was interesting. I found this upstairs, and I found this underneath where we were staging the clothing. This is a Timmy Woods purse from Beverly Hills. There's the dust cover, and look at this. It's a Timmy Woods ship That's a purse, and I think Timmy Woods' items are like lacquered wood. So there you go. It's signed on the inside, Timmy Woods of Beverly Hills. That is so whimsical and so cool. But it didn't surprise me that she had a Timmy Woods hand painted, cruise ship purse. That was just incredible. I am getting a call on my phone, and I wanted to tell you as well. I just got, oh, look at that bangle. I just got a phone call from Indiana, and people are actually going to come into the sale from Indiana. I don't know what these items are, but I got to go through those. I'm still finding very interesting pieces in the jewelry, and then a lot of costume pieces that, oh, what is this one? Oh, yeah, there we go. There's a little bit of an afterthought. A rhinestone belt. There are rhinestone earrings in the jewelry at home, but that's a rhinestone belt. That's incredible. And then sort of like a modernist chain belt. That's really cool in gold tone. Those are all belts. So isn't that cool? Didn't know. I had no idea. I do want to sort more of this, so I'll do this off camera and go through and make sure there's, no fine jewelry. And if there is, that goes in the showcases. And yeah, we'll call it for the day. And I got my work cut out for me. So there we go. I appreciate you joining in. And I guess I'll end on my favorite painting of the house. It's still hands down my favorite. I go back to this over and over. That basically sums up the whole house. And look at that with the light on it now. That was in the first video. And boy, it sure didn't look like that. I'll end the video there. And I'll tell you that I love you because I do. And I'll see you next time.